All right, this is the home stretch. We've got one more lock note address or presentation. I don't know why they call it a lock note. I think they lock the doors so you can't leave. But it's Ian and Emily, and we don't have a title, but where are you? Have you left? You've already left. Here they are. Yeah, great. So maybe they're coming. They can't get up here. So Emily and Ian, over to you.
Are we on? Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello?
Oh,
Hello?
this is fun. I've never had one of these before.
It's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very cool.
So, first of all, I'm very nervous.
I'm so nervous.
Because we have to follow that, which is very hard to do.
Yes.
And
we don't get a couch either. We have to.
No couch. We can't hide behind anything.
No.
And somehow we have to summarize, bring all this in together so that it's going to make sense. Actually, one thing that I would suggest, because I was so impressed with what I just heard, and I'm so disappointed that not everyone could have heard it. So maybe we need to think about having that much earlier in a conference to set a tone. Just a little note. So we want to do things a little bit differently, right? And we have just met over the last few days, and I've been privileged to meet Emily, and we've co-created some stuff together. This is really partnership, co-creation. And we thought we would do something to start off to energize things, so we're going to do expressive dance.
Take it away.
Is that what? No? Okay, no expressive dance.
That was just you.
That was just me. That was going to be very traumatic for some of the audience. But actually, we talked about research. Right? We did talk about research. We're going to start with a bit of research. We're going to collect some data.
We are.
Together. And we want you to help us. And if you have to help us, don't be shy. Just get into it. It's going to energize you, because if you're like me, I'm running on fumes right now.
And I just had a coffee, which was a terrible idea, because
She just had 4 coffees. Okay, so the way this is going to work is that we're going to alternate. We're going to ask a question. And all you're going to have to do is, if your answer is yes, you're going to stand up. If your answer is no, you stay down. And if your answer is right, you have to stay up until your answer changes to a no. So you'll be going up and down and up and down and up and down. And people's eyes are already starting to roll. And why are they going to make us do this? Trust me. Okay? You go first.
Okay, first question. I had dinner with a new friend or a colleague. If you're yes. Everyone stand up.
Excellent.
Good. We're all fed.
Good. Next question. I finally got over my jet lag. If it's yes, you stand up. If it's no, you sit down. Good. Good. Glad to hear it.
I learned something new that I really want to follow up on when I get back home. Hopefully.
I'm kind of hoping that they're all going to stand up.
Most people.
Or some people are going to be peer pressured into standing up.
Bully them.
Next one. I felt heard as a young person. I felt heard as a young person. So if you're not a young person, you shouldn't be standing up, but I see Tony Bates is standing up.
Okay. I'm guilty of this. I tried to use French at least once.
Ah, mais c'est magnifique!
S'il vous plaît, that's all I've got.
Next one. I got lost looking for a meeting room or a bathroom at least once. See, I thought I was the only one. I really did.
I went in circles.
Oh, okay.
I failed my Twitter quest.
No, I failed my Twitter quest. Everybody failed their Twitter quest. And some people are saying, what's a Twitter quest?
Yeah.
Next one. I met some amazing young people who taught me something. I met some amazing young people who taught me something. That's just about everybody.
That's everyone. I found someone who does work or research just like mine.
They're not so sure. Oh, we didn't tell them, right? If they're not sure about their answer, if you're not sure if you're stuck between a yes or a no, you know what you have to do? You have to do this. And those that are left-handed, you do this. No one's doing it, so they're going to be decisive now. Okay. Next one. I tried poutine while I was here. Yes. Yeah. Some people are kind of smiling and, okay. And you'll have it again, right? Yes. Yeah. No.
Okay, next one. I am completely exhausted. Yeah.
Okay. Next one. I was inspired at least once. I was inspired at least once.
Okay. I took at least...
I forgot.
Oh, you forgot. That's all right.
No, that's okay. We're going to ask Tony to help us.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I took at least one selfie.
So, Emily, I realized that I did not take a selfie.
I didn't take a selfie either.
And my phone is in my jacket, but Tony Bates is going to take a picture of us. It'll be a Batesy. Can you do that? Not our shoes, though. That's good. Good. Now you have to tweet that.
Oh, please don't.
Okay, next one. I learned something new. It's kind of the same one. I learned something new that I want to follow up when I get home. So I think we said that one earlier on. Yeah, go to the last one then.
And the last one is, I want to come to the next conference because I had such an incredibly good, inspiring, and appropriately draining time.
Excellent. Okay, good. So now you can all have a seat. So now we have collated 3 days of information on the conference, and we have 37 slides we're going to show now, with various graphs and figures and tables that no one can read from where you're sitting.
And there's N values and Z values.
There are N values, and there are P values with lots of zeros.
Lots of dots.
Lots of dots, lots of zeros, and it's going to be fascinating. Not. Rather than doing that, what we have done over the last 3 days, we have been taking separate notes about things that we learned, things that kind of struck us. And then earlier today, we compared notes, and it was astounding the number of things that were similar.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about this list is that it's not just focused on research or clinical practice or even just youth engagement itself. It's a really combined and cohesive collaboration of every single thing we've gone throughout these few days. And I had a massive fangirling moment with Pat McGorry not long ago.
She shook his hand and she said she's never going to wash her hand again.
Didn't say that.
You better not give a kiss on either cheek, so it's going to be disastrous.
But in all seriousness, one of the things that Pat brought up was that was highlighted throughout the 3 days is that it wasn't just a single focus. It was really cohesive between all of these different areas in youth mental health, which was incredibly exciting to see.
So why don't you start?
Okay, so our first one, I don't think I'm alone in this, spoke and heard yesterday morning, which feels like 4 days ago. I don't know where the time went. Were amazing, and I really want to thank them on behalf of everyone for reminding us that sometimes you have to wave your finger through the flame. And it was highlighted earlier again today that suffering is part of the human condition, and I think we really need to be careful to not overcomplicate things and not make things too clinical, but realize that, like I think Dexter said earlier, we're all human, we've all got brains, we've all got mental health, and we're all going to go through some real crap in life. And it's okay to not be okay all the time, and I think they highlighted that really incredibly well. And one of the other quotes I really took away from them is that the best thing you can do for a young person is just to be yourself and be real. And I think that really says it all.
Yeah. I think my first one is that youth could, can, should be researchers. And it's about freaking time we do it. We learn so much from young people when they are helping us figure out what information we are collecting, should be collecting, they should be collecting, and then they should be interpreting and telling us how we should use it in all of our services, all of our work, and our future research.
And just on that, I saw a great tweet, I don't remember who said it earlier today, but we're more than just being between 18 and 24. That's not our only talent and not the only thing that we can bring to the table. So I think that is really important as well. Okay, the next one is that we really still need to do a better job at engaging young men in our work and even in our conferences like this. I think initiative like the Young Men's Project are exactly...
Terrific presentation.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys. It was
Amazing.
wonderful.
I wasn't even at that presentation, and it's still one of the points that I got from Twitter, which, power of Twitter, guys. And one of the great things I got from that presentation is that young men do want to talk about their mental health, just not in the same way that females do. And I think, logically and intellectually we understand that, but in practice I don't think we've quite yet figured out how that looks. So, yeah.
So from Susan Blishen, what I really took back was mental health informed youth work, which is about promoting mental wellness and not just treating mental illness. And we have to look at things more comprehensively, more holistically, and that our workforce has to understand that. In their pre-service training, in their ongoing training, it's essential. We can't just wait till things get to a state that the most specialized services are available. We have to promote wellness in young people because that's what they're telling us they want.
We learnt that Aussies really know how to party. We learnt that Canadians are so polite.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
That's
Okay.
They're very...
Sorry about that. Sorry, Alicia. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
All the time.
You're heckling.
Stop.
Sorry.
And I've finally accepted that Australians, we have weird accents. Like, we sound super weird compared to everyone else.
What was that?
Good one. And I've also discovered that croissants are more than acceptable for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, for snacks, for midnight snacks. Just all the pastries are totally fine.
So some of these things I knew, but I realized that data's good. Stories are better. Data explained through stories and communicated through stories are best. So... Oh, it's me again. Oh, I love this one. And this is a shout out to somebody else. I'm going to read it because I'm going to get it wrong and I get choked up. But that by defining our vision and adding some passion and maybe a bit of Irish charm, we can change an island nation one community at a time. Thanks to Tony.
We learnt, but were also reminded that young people we don't want to be rescued or saved or airlifted out of situations. I know for me personally, some of the experiences I went through when I was 16 and talking to Headspace from my closet are what made me, be here in Montreal today and made me the person I am. So what we really need is we need to be empowered through these challenges, and we need to be guided through our journey of mental ill health and our journey of just experiencing what our mental health means to us, so that we can grow and we can develop and we can become, adults who can eventually, hopefully, be the person that we needed when we were younger. So we don't need to be saved, we just need to be guided sometimes.
Yeah. So I have heard about so many amazing initiatives, projects, research studies, national, local, regional, provincial, statewide. It's astounding how much is out there. But it's time we start knitting these things together. It's time that we stop reinventing the wheel. It's time that we start sharing for global impact. And if we can't do it, no one's going to do it. So let's make that our goal.
This is a topic I'm really passionate about, and it was mentioned earlier this morning, which I got really excited about. Self-care for us is also really important. As, I don't know who said it in the youth panel, someone, this is hard. The stuff we do is hard. The things we deal with every day, it's hard and it's emotionally draining. And whether you're a clinician or a researcher or a young person with a lived experience or you're an advocate, you're dealing with some really heavy stuff. So it's important that we understand that self-care isn't being selfish, but it's about extending our willingness to be healing and to be kind to ourselves, and then being able to project that onto others. And I think that really involves us changing the mental health model to one that understands human beings as being fragile but furiously strong, and being dependent but really passionately empowered. And I think that's incredibly important moving forward as a workforce, young people, clinicians, researchers, advocates, to live up to our potential and make the changes that we really want to see.
So I talked before about the importance of having young people participate actively in research, but it actually goes beyond that. So it's making sure that we're getting research in the hands of all those that are affected. And that's not just young people. That's family members. That's community members. That's frontline workers who need to have the tools to be able to evolve in their craft. People are in this because they have something inside them that really allows them to do something quite unique when they can connect with a young person and help them walk beside them for a while on their journey. But we have to make sure that whatever we're learning from other sources gets into their hands. So on top of their talent that they have naturally, they have extra tools to go even further. So let's make sure we do that. You don't have to clap after every one, by the way. We didn't expect any clapping at all.
No.
We expected people nodding off and leaving because they're catching planes. But you're all so polite, so thank you. Thank you very much.
You must still be Canadian. Yeah. This is embarrassing because
I have to go like this.
This is so embarrassing because I've already fangirled about Pat, but Pat McGorry is definitely Mr. Australia. And he's not up for auction. Stop. Because there's been a few people from the UK and from other countries being like, can he move? No, he's ours. We will share him, but no. Good. No, but in all seriousness, I think this morning's session, I personally was just bubbling with passion and excitement from this morning. I think this morning really, we told it, well, Pat did, but we all did. We told it like it is, and that we really need to stop accepting some of the crap that we put up with for so many years in mental health. But one of the other things I think is really important that we think about is that awareness is a beautiful thing, right? So it's great to spread awareness, but it's great to spread awareness about everything, not just, depression, anxiety, hugely prevalent and hugely important issues. But what about the ugly things? What about the not so nice things? What about the psychosis? What about the personality disorders? What about borderline? What about self-harm? Eating disorders, which also I think not a huge amount of eating disorders covered in this conference, which I would have loved to see a lot more of. So maybe that's something we can look at in the future. But it's about us not hiding behind some of the more talkable and beautifully linguistic concepts, but being willing to have the real and sometimes the more ugly conversations, and also being brave enough to spread those with our communities back home. And I think that was a really powerful message this morning about our need to be authentic and genuine and just be real about what's happening in this space.
I'm going to jump in for a second because I want Emily to have the last word. But I recognized something, and it was Alicia helped with this. And I've been walking around, and it's tough sometimes because I realize that the young people in the audience and the young people in participating and talking about their experiences, that was me a long time ago. That's exactly what I was struggling with. That's the things that I couldn't talk about, the depths that I went into. And I sure wish that this was around back then, quite honestly. So it's fitting that Emily has the last word today to lock up the lock note.
So I'm going to throw back to the very beginning of the conference when Alicia spoke. Just to summarise, I think a really important take-home for everyone. So as we all fly home or we drive home, back to our communities and our families and our organisations and, you know, our clinical services and our desks or wherever you're going. I want to put the challenge forward to each of every one of us to be who you needed when you were young. And I think that sums it up. I think if we can all have the humility to look back and remember what it's like to be a young person and remember what it's like to have those struggles, if we can look back and think about what we needed at that time, then I think we're definitely headed in the right direction. And I think that's probably a really beautiful take-home message. Thank you, Alicia, for that from this conference.
Okay. Well, we're just going to wrap it up now. Ashok and Alicia and Aidan, would you like to come up? I just think that last comment, it was just amazing. It really rang true for me. Be who you needed when you were young. And it made a lot of sense to me in terms of what we're all trying to do, even us old people. You know, so that's exactly what we're trying to do. So thank you for that, Alicia. So we're just going to wrap it up with some thank yous, I guess, and a few other final comments. Do you guys want to go first?
So Ada and I are going to miss you all lots. We're both kind of teary-eyed, so we apologize. But we're going to announce the poster winners. So I'm going to go first. So just so everyone knows, all these poster winners are all getting the prize. It's going to be mailed to you. And there's no hierarchy in these in the way that they're being listed off, but I would love for you guys to applaud for our great poster winners. The first one is 299, Not Just Talk, promoting authentic youth engagement in hospital and community-based service transformation. And it's from Jill Leach and the London Health Sciences Centre. Give them a big round of applause.
Second poster winner was called Youth Participation and Equipping Communities to Address Self-Harm. It was by Michelle Atkinson from Stripey.
The third is Using Art to Inspire Conversation in School-Based Mental Health Literacy, the Mural Project in Prince Edward Island, Canada. And it's by Brandy Bell of Prince Edward Island University.
Fourth was Now We're Cooking, engaging Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander youth through well-being and cooking workshops. And it was by Vicky Papageorgopoulos.
And the last one we have to announce is, we'll make sure, okay. The last one we have to announce is Parents and Child Enabled PACE Group, Building Resilient Families of Children with Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder or Oppositional Defiant Disorder, which is Joy Ung with the Child and Adolescents Mental Health Wellness Service, Department of Psychology. Wow, you know who you are.
I know we've said thank you already, but I think I just want to say it on behalf of Alicia and I, and hopefully all the young people feel the same, and everyone in the room, really, that this has been an amazing conference. So thank you to all the organizers, and thank you as well to our last Locknote speakers and all the other speakers for being just amazing people and getting up here and just giving it your best. So thank you. Big round of applause. Come on, guys. So everybody up here. There we go.
Okay, I just wanted to add to that too, and I want to underline a couple of things if I can, because I just think this conference would not have happened without the Beck family. I know they're on the list there, but they've been absolutely critical, and also to really, I suppose, get Canada moving. And I mean, this conference wouldn't have been here if Canada wasn't actually doing so well and progressive. It's one of the key countries. So. Thank you to Tony, Ian, and Rob, who are just sitting here. I think I'd love to give you a big round of applause, a special round of applause. And I'm sure Ashok's got a number of other people to thank. I want to thank my people, my colleagues, Karen Pennell and Craig Hodges, who, again, without their incredible amount of work, you wouldn't know how much work they actually did to make this happen, and they're extremely good at their job, and that's why this has worked. And so thank you to both of you. And I just want to say before I hand over to Ashok that this has been a huge privilege to be here. And I think this conference gets better every time. This is the third one, and it's just an amazing. Not everyone would know how rare this is in the mental health field to have, large numbers of young people, family, researchers, clinicians, all respecting each other in an incredible way. That is a great achievement in mental health. It doesn't happen in many other places, and it is powerful. It is powerful. It's got the power to change things. We saw it changed things in Quebec this week, didn't it, with the mental health plan? That's a youth focus there now. And I think if we're all parochial and we just go back and we feel disempowered in our own countries, how can we actually change things? We've got so much work to do, but we come together and we feel empowered in this way. If we keep doing that, like came out of the last session, the collaboration that young people were talking about, that is the powerful thing. And I think we can be very confident we're going to change things. So over to you, Ashok.
Things that you do work better. Before I say much, I don't have a lot to say, but I'd like to invite Ronan and his team to the stage, and really we need to say a big thank you to Ronan and his team, because without their essentially running this conference, first of all, it's not it's challenging, but everybody I have spoken to has basically said this is a beautifully run conference. Most people were satisfied, except that maybe at times people got lost. Maybe people don't know how to find a toilet or something like that. But in general, I think this has been amazing.
Thank you.
This is great. Thanks. Thank you.
Can I just grab this for a second? There's a group of people at the back of the room that I think we all need to thank. The tech team have been absolutely amazing over the last 3 days, and I just want to give a big shout out to them. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I know we all want to leave. We want to get home. And I think Pat has thanked a number of people, so I'm not going to repeat that, including our sponsors, and including not just for the financial sponsorship, but really this kind of the spirit that the Graham Beck Foundation has brought as into the whole youth mental health movement. And it's not really confined to Canada. I'm pretty sure this is going to permeate youth mental health and its growth throughout the world. I'm pretty sure about that. I also like to thank, I thought that the majority of people really participated in the sessions. Sometimes it's not possible for everyone to be asking questions, but I thought the level of participation in the sessions that I went to was excellent, and the quality of presentations was great. I think it's a real challenge to put together a conference where we're trying to meet so many objectives. This is a very particular conference. It's the only conference that I go to where you have such great participation from youth, and then you have researchers, and you have clinicians, you have service providers, policy people, but that is essentially the spirit with which youth mental health is going to grow. But balancing those objectives is not easy, but at the same time, we cannot sacrifice them. These are all objectives that we have to meet. We just have to keep getting better at it. And I know that this conference was a little bit perhaps better than, I don't want to say a lot better because, this is being held in Montreal, but maybe Pat can say if it was better or not. But, I think each time it gets better. And I know that the next time, in the next 2 years, we would probably have made more strides. I was talking to one of my colleagues, and he said, there's so much going on. I think waiting for 2 years is long. I don't know about that. I don't know if Karen would want that, but there may be. But there might be other ways of doing that by combining, certain themes and with other conferences and so on. So without really holding you much longer, I want to thank all of you for being so attentive, for staying so long. J'espère que vous avez profité beaucoup de congrès. And next time, I hope that we're in another country, maybe where we'll be exposed to another language. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in different conferences, and especially at the next Youth Mental Health Conference.
I think to finish up, we should just all get up, feel the energy some more, and get some yelling and clapping, guys. Come on, let's go. Woo!